Hey guys, FFXIV here. Today I'm going to be going over my thoughts of a new DLC class for the BARD called the Alchemist. I know that we have an Alchemist already in the game, but this is a damage version of the Alchemist. Now this class is the complicated level has to be on medium, I would have to say, because you have three, four-ish different stances that you can go into at any time that you want. They work just like a song, but I'll get into those later. The first abilities would be two, not AoE dots, but two hard hitting dots. They do the potency of a blunt arrow, but they add in the dots of a corrosive bite and a storm bite mixed in together. And the straight shot turns into a detonation. So after when those two dots together, not including the initial hit, but just the dots together, they do probably about, I don't know, let's just say 3,000 damage altogether. Every 3,000 damage these two dots do together, you can use a straight shot to detonate every target that you have that is affected by your two dots, so you can detonate on three targets at once. But if you go back and re-dot all your enemies two more times, it can stack up to three, therefore doing three times the amount of damage on your detonation. Your fourth and final ability your fourth and final ability would be your fourth and final ability for your basic rotation would be like a pet command. It would just be a pet, like if you played Smite. Well, never mind, let me not even compare this to Smite. It would be like my Midgardsormr. You see how he's flying around there? Instead of him doing that, he'll be either flying there, breathing fire onto someone, doing damage over time through that, or it will be like a little dog or a wolf or anything like that at your feet, just attacking, anything with you, and you can tell your pet to, hey, stay on this target or follow me. Your pet will not go off and just fight things like a Arcanist pet will. It will just stand there with you and just be an extra set of damage. Be extra dot, basically. Going into your cooldowns or your CCs, whatever you want to call them, starting with your first one, it will be a 10% skill speed buff. So you'll be able to apply your dots onto all your enemies faster, therefore getting off your detonation move a lot quicker and more often. Your second move will be something similar to the warrior's direct hit rate and crit rate buff. It'll be something like that, but it will only work on dots. The initial hit from all your dots will not be a direct hit rate or crit hit rate, only your dots will. Um, Moving on to your quote unquote miasma, because this is basically what it is. It's not really a miasma, it will be more of a bio that just does about 3,000 potency, or just does a really hard hitting dot over the time of 15 to 20 seconds on a 40 to 60-second cooldown. This move will change depending on your what stance you are in because of other reasons. We don't want your dots to just we don't want your straight shot to just basically continuously recharge, do we? That will be a little bit broken. Anyways, your fourth and final CC or CD, whatever you want to call it, is going to be a lifesteal, but once again, it only procs off of your dots. So say that you are in your first form, which I'm going to explain next. Well, right now. Basically, all your fourth form is just that your pet turns into an extra dot. It's an extra dot that adds on all of your dot moves, though. So it will add on to your first two primary dot moves. You basically deal the damage. It will say your first dot move will be up there stacked by one, and your new dot move, I just normally use these for colors, so your blue dot move will stack up there by one, your green dot move will be up there stacked up there by one, and then when you use your second ability, that purple dot move will be up there by one, and then the green dot move will be up there by two. The green dot move can only be stacked on every add twice. Can't go more than 3 times because of overpowered numbers and reasons like that. During this time, though, your Misery's End and your Reign of Death are activated. Your Reign of Death is just increases your potency for your Misery's End, your Sidewinder, and your Bloodletter. That's basically what it does. What your Misery's End is basically like your Straight Shot. It will do the detonation of all your dots, but once you use your Misery's End, all your dots will not go away. I didn't mention that about that the first time. Once you use your Straight Shot, all of your dots that you applied goes away. They all just boop, they're gone. So yeah, you gotta use that wisely. Your barrage at this point is I had it is something to do with increasing. I want to say something to do with increasing how fast you can put the dots on them. Something to do with that. Or maybe it wasn't. It probably wasn't. I completely forgot what it was. But anyways, let's continue on to the next one. The Mage's Ballard would be your second stance. This ability would be your second stance. And in this ability, you'll be able to use your Sidewinder, which basically will become a passive AoE dot. The reason why it's passive is because any enemy within a 20 yalm or yard radius of you that comes near you will automatically have a dot onto them. It's not a continuous dot, it's just a dot that is placed on them. So even if you walk past them and you walk away with them, that dot will still continuously be on them. Even if it says immune, it will continuously deal damage to them, because at the end of your song, 50% of all the damage that you accumulated, basically you'll become a supernova. It'll all detonate from you in a 20-yard radius and just blow everything up. Adding in the potency on this one at the very last second, or not even at the last second, anywhere between this, you can switch it between making it a giant bomb or a giant gas, which is basically your passive but stronger, and it will last for a longer period of time. So basically it's your passive in just one location, dealing dot damage. Or should it follow you? No, I don't think it should follow you. I think that would be a little bit too strong for it. Well, anyways, this Alchemist is basically just based around dots and what you can do with dots. Third form will be Shadow form. This is when the Bloodletter comes in. Your pet goes away, and you can do one of three things with your barrage in this form. when you fully dot everyone. Oh wait, I forgot about my second form. The move rotation for it is not going to be the same. It's going to change. So your two dots are going to be the same. It's just that your detonation is going to turn to a fourth combo hit that does a lot of potency, and your pet is going to turn into basically a low damage buff that gives you 5% increased damage. Going into your third form now, your moves are going to be kind of the same, but not. All four of them are going to be dots. Two are going to be a high potency initial hit dot, like high initial hit damage, low potency for the dot, or low initial hit damage and a high potency for the dot. It will be both of those two, vice versa, on rotation like that. And then once you fully put all your dots on that person, you have one of three choices, depending on what type of enemy it is. You can either consume their soul and give yourself a buff. You could either B, consume their soul and resurrect them as a pet for you. Or you could C, consume their soul once more and I was thinking about doing, because you already have a buff, you have a minion with you. I don't want to add in another dot because, oh wait, that's exactly what it was. It was basically gonna be a you're my asthma dot. Your hard hitting dot, you can basically have that. And you can either consume his soul using your barrage move, and then activating it would be your bloodletter move. So you consume their soul, and then you can activate it, or you can stack it up to 6 times. So you can have 6 different enemies running around, dealing damage to whoever's supposed to be dealing damage to. I mean, like, the reason why you're able to release it whenever you want is because I know in certain boss fights you're not supposed to kill the ads. You're just supposed to burn the boss, so that's why you can hold it for certain situations like that. And then they will go out, deal damage, and at the end of their duration of dealing damage, they would explode depending on how much damage they dealt. Your second one was applying, well, this is your third one. Your second one was applying another dot onto someone. You can boost this dot up to 6 stacks. And basically, it will be the potency of a tier 2 or a tier 2.5 pitch perfect. And it would, yeah, it will basically last for a whole entire minute. So you can have it, basically, you can carry on something from this class, from this stance, onto your next stance if you want by saving it. Your third save thing was your buff. You can stack that all the way up to 30% damage. Your fourth and final stance, quote unquote stance, which will be your Foe's Requiem ability, I believe. Your Reflugent Arrow is your third form, and your Foe's Requiem is basically your own personal limit break. And what you can do in this limit break is that you have the AoE passive of your second stance, you have the AoE passive dot of your second stance, you have your Misery's End from your first stance, you have that damage buff from that stance, and then from your third stance, you can consume their souls to increase the potency of your Misery's End, basically. And the reason why this is so strong is because it is a limit break. You can only have one limit break per character per dungeon. So I was going to make it per checkpoint, But now that I'm saying this out loud, this is really strong, especially since the limit break's gonna last for a whole entire minute. So, I mean, like, stacking your damage buff, you get a 30% damage buff in this form. You're dealing crazy damage to everyone and everything around you. You're just blowing everything up. And then on top of that, you just go through your normal moves basically. It's like you're the reason why it's just so easy and basic is because all your songs turn to passives. You can't use any song during your limit break but your limit break. You have to activate, like, click it on, click it off. It works just like a grit. It's not a channel. It doesn't drain anything. The only thing that it drains is your limit break. The only way how to increase it is that you have to play your class correctly, which is in this case doing big numbers with your dots. And then once that's done, you use it for say 10 seconds. You use it with a 30% buff. You go in there, like I said before, a lot of damage to everything. You're able to use your skills even quicker through your attack speed CD. And for some reason, you're able to get your 2 stacks of everything onto this guy, and you basically just turn off your. My bad, you get 2 stacks of your third stance passive, and you basically just hold it. I mean, like that passive is activated during your LB, so it wouldn't make sense if you just can't stack it for that song because I mean, like, once you get back to that song, it's gonna be just, I don't know, 2 stacks of minions, maybe 2 stacks of a damage buff. Fill that back out to 6. I mean, like, it's gonna take you so long just to get back to your third stance that while you're using your LB, it's better to just save it for your next stance instead of going back and just using it in your third stance. So that's why all these passes are active during your LB, because your LB is your 1 minute per dungeon of absolute god form. Basically, that's basically what it is. Your absolute god form for 1 whole minute. And that was my recreation of the BARD. Basically, I know that there's more moves that the BARD has that I didn't go over yet. Let me go back in here to see if I can think of something really quick. Raging Strikes, that one's gone. I replaced Raging Strikes. Repelling Shot, Quick Knock. You don't really need that one. Lockjaws. There was a lockjaw thing up here. I'm so glad that I went back into these skills because there is a lockjaw skill on the BARD. Because I mean, like, why would there not be a lockjaw skill? Lockjaw is so OP. But this lockjaw is 10 times OP-er, if you would like to say. It was a part of one of your CDs instead of having, I don't know, the damage buff or the lifesteal buff or the miasma dot or the, I know I said it, or the attack speed buff. Instead of having one of those, wait, no, yeah, okay, instead of having one of those, whenever having one of those, dang it, lost track of my thought. uh oh well, I guess I'll just edit this part out. I went over all the important things of my class. But anyways, what the Iron Jaw was supposed to be is that it's going to be like you can replace your dots on all the ads at once. Since your main dots can stack up to 3, Mostly all of your main dots can stack up to 3. With help of Iron Jaw, you can just replace all of them once every 30 seconds on your rotation. It helps for like just putting your dots up there twice on everyone, using your lockjaw, replace it all up there for your third and final time, use your detonation, and then go back to your combo. It's great for that. Anyways, this has been Strictly X Psycho giving you my opinion on the new DLC BARD class. If there should be a new DLC BARD class, let me know down in the comments if there even should, if the Final Fantasy classes should basically like switch, damage becomes tanky, range becomes melee, healers becomes damage, tanks become healers, things like that. Let me know that if what you think on the idea, and please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.